So we often hear the quote that says, love makes the world go around. But, but, when we are in a relationship, it's not just with our love interest only, not just with the person only. It's also almost all the time in the relationship together with us is this thing called money. So you see, it's not just a two-person relationship, it's two-person plus money. So sometimes money can make or break a relationship as well. What's your take on this? Do you share the same sentiment? Welcome to the Financial Health Insights. I'm Kevin Neo, your host and guide on your journey towards better financial health. Having witnessed the burden financial stress can have on people's life, I am committed to helping you achieve financial health, reduce stress, and experience the peace of mind that comes with it, so that you can break free from the grip of financial stress and live a life of greater stability and confidence. All the information shared in the podcast is to serve as information and educational purposes, and you should consider your personal circumstances prior to making any decision. You are also advised to speak with a qualified and licensed financial planner before you implement any advice. So, get ready to take charge of your financial future one episode at a time. Hello, and welcome back to another episode for the Financial Health Insights podcast. I am your host, Kevin Neo, certified financial coach, licensed financial planner, and also a speaker and facilitator for employee financial health program. And today, we are going to talk about something that affects every relationship. Of course, this is a financial podcast, so we talk about money. But since Valentine's Day is around the corner, in fact, when this episode is released, it would just be exactly on the Valentine's Day. So I think it's a perfect time to reflect or talk about not just love and relationship, but also our financial health inside our relationship. Whether we realize it or not, our money belief shape how we interact with our partners, how we navigate or make financial decisions together, or influence the kind of expectations we have on our love interest or partner, and even how we see ourselves in the long run. So this conversation is not just about couples, it's also about our financial self-awareness. We also have a relationship with money all this while since we were young and to the time now that we are an adult, and even our self-love as well. So if we don't have a healthy financial mindset or the money belief that is supporting us to thrive and do well in life, how can we build a strong, prospering, and meaningful, lasting relationship with our partners? It makes sense, right? If you yourself is not loving yourself, cannot supporting yourself to do well, then how are we going to maintain a relationship with our partner that is meant to do well in the long run? So today we are going to talk about how to create financial compatibility. See, sometimes it's like we cannot match well because it's not compatible. And it's not just because our personality, which is also something we carry on all along our life journey, but also our money mindset and belief is not compatible. That therefore sometimes you find people clash around the topic of money, and that could also be a point of contention that separate them, or they decided that we are not going it's not going to work out for us, so let's just take a break here or whatnot. Financial compatibility is so important, so today let's talk about it, and also hopefully by having some better understanding around this, then you can or we can strengthen our own confidence level and also build a relationship that is mutually benefiting everyone as well, right? I think before we do anything, especially when it involves another person, the first step is not to talk about the other person, but is to understand ourselves first. All right. So before we even talk about couple and money, I think the better place to start with you. You have to understand yourself first. So what do you believe about money? Uh, is money mean something that is is money something that represent freedom to you, security to you, or it enabler you to it's an enabler to you? Do you believe that money should be enjoyed in the moment as long as we can? Money require you to save up for future. So these are some of the starting point. Do you believe that if someone wants to lend me money, just take it? Or do you believe that that is something that I want to avoid at all costs throughout my lifetime? And what do you think about helping people? Do you believe that helping people is something that you must do? Or do you believe that we should help ourselves and make sure we are all okay before we even think about helping other people? So you see, for each of the thing that I mentioned just now, what you think is what you believe to be true. But it's very likely that your partner, he or she has a total opposite when it comes to his or her belief around the same topic. If you believe that we should spend now, maybe he or she would think that no, we should save first. And therefore you have to understand, where do you stand first? What is your belief first? And those are the questions that we rarely ask ourselves, right? Have you asked yourself what is your stand or your belief around on that? What is your belief about saving? We just do. We just do. We just live our life, right? But what we think about all those questions, our belief about our money, it somehow shape our financial habits, and therefore it creates us, and it has an impact around on our relationship for sure. So think about it. If one partner see money as a tool for happiness and the other see it as something to give me security, okay? So when this person wants to use the money to spend on something to get more happiness, that might actually unsettle the partner. All right. That this is how conflict may arise. So this is where our financial health self-awareness becomes quite crucial or key, if you ask me. So take these two persons for example. Let's call them S and J. Sounds like Subang Jaya. So S and J, they had been married for 5 years when S told J, I don't see how I can live a better life with you. You are not going to satisfy or give me the kind of lifestyle that I want. So J, he was a frugal saver. To him, money is something that is always not enough. So you have to be very careful and you have to save and prepare for the future so that when something happens, you have money to help you to get through those things of time. So he believed that financial security means you spend as little as possible and you need to save a lot more. But his partner, his wife, S, totally opposite. To S, money you need to enjoy, and if you earn higher income, you should live in a bigger house, drive a bigger car, something like that. So that means it's very obvious, right? They had a misalignment, or it's not match. They will always, most of the time, clash when it comes to making bigger money decision, especially. So it led them to separated in the end, actually. But what happened is, before they go separate way, in his attempt to satisfy S's desire, J, he made a deposit and applied for a house loan, and that house was about almost 2 million ringgit. It's like they were living in an apartment. He thought that upgrading to a landed house would make her happy, but then he was not really comfortable with the house loan, despite his income is okay to handle that. But then, as he thought that sharing the news would makes his ex-wife happy, her comment was, I think it's okay, but let's aim that, in 3 to 4 years later, we upgrade it again. So to his mindset was, it's already like 2 million, nearly 2 million of loan. Upgrade again, then become 4 million of loan. I totally cannot I don't think it's a right way to spend money like that. Okay. While he felt burdened by the debt level, apparently she didn't see it that way as he tried to reason with her that this is good enough and whatnot. And this is what led to her remark that said, I don't see how I can live a better life with you. And that was like a moment that he now see that maybe we are just not compatible after all now. So what led to this is not that, someone's made a mistake, but it's more like, money has always been like a topic that is a taboo in our culture. So I think it's fair to say that many couples they got married before they find out how different their money belief individually, behaviors and their personal goals and aspirations can differ from their soon to be partner or soon to be spouse. And this is possibly the reason that most of the time we only realize that something is always clashing and we are always having an elephant in the room, a big elephant in the room that always led to certain argument or misalignment of expectation and whatnot. So I think it's about time that we start to understand that when we come together, it's not just about we like different color, different food or whatnot. Your money belief is also going to be something that is very likely quite different from your partner. And if you can have a better understanding before you tie up the knot, I think it will be very helpful. Hopefully, this episode can also provide like a framework to people so that we can reduce money stress in relationship in the household, which will also have a ripple effect on the children. But before discussing money with your partner, it's always good to reflect on your money values and beliefs first and where they come from. So whatever you believe just now was, let's say, about that, about spending, saving and whatnot, right? Think back, this belief did not just get installed to your brain by accident. It's actually a collective experiences from your childhood and your life all along. What you can do is you can think back to your earlier time, your childhood, for example, and recall your experiences with money. You can ask yourself questions like how your parents or guardians handle money. What kind of learning or lessons were you taught along the way about money, around spending, saving, or investing? Maybe the adults in your family encourage you to enjoy, to spend, and to have fun. And maybe you see them doing all these things, and therefore subconsciously you have this belief that money needs to be spent. Or if you see the adults in your family, they argue they had a difficult time because they were burdened by debt. Maybe this experience give rise to your belief that debt should be avoided at all costs. Or maybe you see people around your family or along your life that people made a lot of money using debt. All right, so then you had this different mindset about that. One example is we always hear people say, especially the older people, they said that the last time this house is only this cheap and now look at it, it's so expensive now. This person bought this house and sell it at a lot higher price, and they managed to send their children to study overseas. So these were the stories we hear, and it might be true, but maybe last time it was true, but now maybe it's a little bit different because things change, people change also, right? It's beneficial to look back at how we inherited or had certain belief around certain things. It's not just around money only, but everything else in life. And to check with ourselves, how did we arrive at this kind of conclusion or impression? And is this still true today? I think I talked about this in the previous episode. I can put it in the show note for you also so that I don't repeat the same thing too many times. Okay. Other than your money belief, I think it's also important for us to understand today as we stand here and live here in the moment now. What are the things that matters to us? What do we want our money to do for us? Do you look at money as a tool that gives you security to help you feel safe, help you to sleep better at night? Or money is something that help you to have better freedom, or you want your money to give you the ability to live in the moment and enjoy more. Understanding your values, what makes you happy, and what you want your money to do for you, and how to use your money to improve the quality of your life can helps you to understand your priority and your personal values, so that you want to spend your money on things that match with your values and not go against your value. So understanding our value means we also have to later understand about the values of our partner, so that if let's say the values are totally opposite, like for example one feel that it's important, it's good to go travel, and the other person say that it's a waste of money to go travel, you still have to find out how to have a common ground together. All right, so I'm respecting that this is my values and this is your values, and we are coming together. So I cannot say that I cannot totally disregard your values. Means if something is important to me, you have to respect that and give me space and agree that it is important to me to a certain extent. You need to agree, and we have to find a common ground, establish a common ground, right? When it comes to priority, next step is to write down your own financial priority, outline your own short-term goal, things that you want to do, you want to accomplish, as well as your longer term things that you want to do and accomplish, so that you are clearer on what you want for yourself first. All right, so a strong relationship is not just about romantic and all that only, it's also about shared values. But to get to shared values, you have to know what's your own value first, right? So couple who are financially aligned with their values, they will have less stress, also fewer conflicts, and of course better quality in terms of their relationship quality and happiness. So financial stability, financial compatibility is not just about how much you earn, but it's also about how you manage, how you share and use your money and her money or his money and everyone's money to build a fulfilling life together. The key word is together. So you have to have, like two circles, you must have one overlapping area. Okay, so understanding our values, also understanding our strength, our weaknesses, can help us to find ways to complement one another. By going through the step above, you should be able to gain a deeper insight into your own relationship with your money before you merge or have a conversation with your partner. Now, money conflicts, right? It can be quite common in relationship, because like what I said earlier, we all are different, and when we come together and live together, it's always bound to create some conflict every now and then, right? But they don't have to be a bone of contention. I remember this couple, a husband and a wife, were considering to buy a bigger house. Sorry about the example, it's about house again. But what's unique about them is that this couple, they were very near retirement. If I remember correctly, right? I think it's about less than a year. In less than a year time, the wife will retire already, and the husband will retire, I think 1 year or 2 years later. So the wife, she was a full-time teacher, and she entitled for pension. Pension means after the person retire, he or she would continue to receive 50% of his or her last drawn salary for whole life. Okay, so in a way, you could say that this is a really, really true passive income, and secured also. You will always get it. So as they planned for a house, right? They wanted to buy a house that's worth 2 over million. The husband saw the wife pensions, the secure income, passive income, as a good, safe way to security to help them to pay the house loan, new house loan. But the wife didn't feel comfortable with this plan. The wife didn't feel comfortable about that, because relying on her pension income to service the house loan would mean that she will have a lot lesser left for her to spend on her retirement lifestyle, and to ensure she can retire with dignity and pride, right? So around on this, right, the husband felt that, hey, how can you just think about your own retirement lifestyle? What about the house that we both want together? Okay, so that's also why there's a conflict. And the reason the husband was counting on the pension income to pay the house loan was because he is a private sector employee, so he don't have pension. He has EPF savings. EPF is a defined contribution retirement saving plan, unlike pension, which is a defined benefit retirement savings. So what it means that EPF savings will be depleted a long time, but pension is continue every month will come in. So this is what led to the conflict. Both of them had different perspective on financial security as well as long-term planning. So situation like this highlight the importance of open discussions and aligning our expectation with one another, especially before it becomes too serious or too late, right? So how to do this is that the first step is you might want to begin by acknowledging your partner's expectation or want or desire first. So what it means is that you acknowledge that, hey, I understand what you want. So like that example here, the wife, she has a pension. The pension can provide her with a steady but limited income after retirement. And she didn't get this pension by chance. She worked the same job for few decades to entitle to it. So she had a very strong point to feel uncomfortable with the plan to use her pension to service the house loan. So using it for a house loan reduces her financial security for sure, leaving her with less money for her personal expenses means she might not be spending her money freely also. Maybe she delayed a lot of plans or desire earlier as she worked. But now if and when she just about to start to able to enjoy the fruit of her hard work, then this money has been reserved for house loan, which it should be taken care by both person. That's her opinion and that's what she thought. So the husband perspective is that, hey, I don't have a pension, I have EPF. I have been working in the private sector to ensure that we don't work the same job and also to support the family in a way. So, and my EPF will finish one. So I think the pension can ensure we can definitely service the house loan. It's not that I don't want to pay, but I can see that the reason we can feel confident to get this house is because you have the pension and we know that we will always be able to pay the loan and the house will not be taken away from us. So none of them is wrong because they have their point and they are all valid. It's just that they see from different angles. So what you need to know is that once we acknowledge this, we want to move forward is we understand that while we are thinking about different angle, but ultimately what we do want is that there is some common goals together. So let's find out what is the common goal. So at the heart of this, I think their common shared values here is about security, right? He wants to ensure the payment can goes on, that the house will be there. She wants to ensure that she has a certain level of financial security. So both of them want security with with this decision. So for the wife, security means having enough money to spend or live the life that I want. For the husband, security means I we can have this house and we never have to worry that the house will be taken away and we have enough to live our life together also in the house and outside of the house. So once they acknowledge that their concerns are about security, they can now move forwards to find a common ground. So instead of arguing about who is right or you are wrong, why are you counting on my money or whatnot, or why are you so selfish thinking about your own retirement money only, they can now look for solutions or alternatives that address both of their concerns. So some of the possible approach could be you can look at for a more house that require a lower spending. So if upgrading their current house is important, they could look for a house that does not add so much burden to both of them. It could reduce the reliance on the pension to ensure the payment can go through all the time also. It could also slow down the pace whereby the husband EPF will be depleted. So you can also adjust the loan tenure. You can also be another way the husband paid a bit more in down payment, whereas the wife have the pension to support the house loan with a bigger weightage. Or the husband pay the down payment, but the wife service the loans. Okay, so it's about how to work out a deal that is deemed fair to both party or acceptable to both party. Another option is perhaps they can also have a discussion about how to split the installment and responsibility to the installment of the loan. As they started to shift their attention from pointing finger or assigning responsibility to exploring alternative, they start to see that actually there are more than one way. So what can we learn from their experience is that sometimes it's very healthy for us, it's very good for us and for the relationship when couple can establish clear agreements, because agreements can bring couple closer together and setting boundary is also very important. When you don't set certain boundary, eventually that relationship can become too one-sided, and therefore it might not be sustainable. If you have been following this podcast, you might know that I always encourage or emphasize the importance of keeping a good balance, because to have things sustainable, you have to always find a good balance. You cannot be too extreme or too one-sided to any extreme. That might be good for a short run, but it won't be sustainable for anything, right? From health, from diet, or to physical health, to relationship health, all the things, you have to find a good balance for it to be sustainable. Therefore, setting specific boundaries around money, couple can prevent common sources of conflict and enjoy a healthier and more relaxed relationship. In that sense, a financial planner can help the couple to explore their alternative and understand the consequences of each of the possible alternative, and also to facilitate the conversation around goal setting, exploration of their personal values, and to do their financial health check so that they understand the pro and cons of each of the possible options or their decisions on their household financial health. One key thing that to set boundary is how we view spending. Like I said earlier, we view spending different, so there's a chance that you might be deemed as a judge or perceived to be judgmental on your partner's spending, or when the partners is very kind, always donate money or help people who has a need to be helped, right? So when one partner spend a lot more on certain thing or donate or help other people, but the other partner is not comfortable with, so it can definitely create conflict and tension for sure. And when you feel that the other person is judging you might also not like it, right? So couples should decide or have an honest conversation about their money belief, and to come to a common ground on agreement on their spending and giving limit, So it can be done in such a way that let's list down everything we have to take care in our family, and let's look at how we share this responsibility, and whatever that is outside this, the balance, you can do what you want with it. It's fine. It's your total freedom. The other way is I take care of certain thing, you take care of certain thing, and we don't have an overlap in our money together. Or I don't have to judge you so long. You take care of what you need to take care of. And another method or approach is that you list down all the important goals. For example, children education, purchase of a new house or house loan, or the loans that we have to service together. You make sure that we let's put in the money together and build and track our progress, and everything else you do is your freedom already. I don't care, and you don't bother me, and I don't bother you, that kind of way. So another thing to have a boundary and to have a common understanding is on your household debt limit or your personal debt limit also. So a couple should have a conversation and agreement on how much debt they are comfortable carrying on. This can help to limit anyone, so any family, from having excessive debt. What you can do is you can calculate your debt servicing ratio, DSR. You can add up all your loan installment, every kind of loan, from your house loan, car loan, education loan, personal loan, credit card installment, and whatnot. Add it all up, and you divide it with your net take home income. What you want is to keep it below 35% all the time. So you do this together, both of you add it up and then divide it and see that it has to be below 35% to be considered as financially healthy. Okay, so if you do this, you should be able to ensure that your partner don't have too much debt, and yourself don't have too much debt, and therefore the whole family don't overburdened by debt, and you can avoid any problems that might be created from having too much of debt. And it goes the same way also when you guys discuss about buying a house or car for the family. It will guide your decisions to not make a decision to buy something that you cannot really afford. Sometimes we can afford today, sure, while we can afford to service a loan now, it reduces our ability to save, and it reduces our ability to handle emergency and unforeseen circumstances. And this is where a lot of time we might create a new debt when we cannot handle any unforeseen expenses, when we ensure that our debt servicing ratio is below 35% or maximum is 35%, we are actually protecting our financial health and also our future financial health as well. Another thing couples can do together is what I call a scenario planning. I think couples should prepare for different kind of scenario, from a very catastrophic scenario like what if the partners or the spouse pass away? What if the spouse have critical illness? How will it affect the whole family, their plans, their goals, and also scenario like what if we buy a house 5 years later, or compared to we buy now and take more loans, so by exploring different scenario, you are allowing yourself and your partner to think about alternative around certain major decisions, and this will help you to have not just a plan A, you will have a plan B, maybe even a plan C. What if, like for example, what if the partner got retrenched? What do we do about it? So I worked with one couple a few months ago. They had too much debt in their family, so it became very difficult for them to service the loans also. And they were relying on the husband's bonus to help them to take away one of the loan, which would be very helpful actually. But then the problem is, what if the bonus is not there? Because there's a concern that the bonus would be much lower, or maybe won't even have bonus this time. So we work out a plan C. The plan C is that they will prepare to increase their income. So they talk about what they can do, how to use their time and expertise. And the wife is a housewife. So the wife also wanted to contribute. So one of the things that in their plan C is the wife would look for a part-time job, and this part-time job is to be a promoter. She found it, okay, near their family, to be a promoter, half a day and a full day in the weekend. But this will help to bring in income around half of the loan installment. So it will be quite helpful for the whole family. And this is what the wife was willing to do to support the family in the event that plan C has to happen. And what's interesting is that even before the bonus thing was learned, whether got bonus or not, because during the process where the wife looked for the part-time job, right, she realized that actually with or without the bonus, I can actually use some of the time, because now my children are older. Last time I became a full-time housewife to take care of them, but now they are in near secondary school. They are in school most of the time, half of the day. I can actually use this time to do some work, and it won't affect my ability to do the house chores and provide for my family also. And they decided that actually with or without, this key item in the plan C will actually become key item in their plan A, plan B, and plan C already. So have a plan A, plan B, and plan C. Plan C should be something that's really very seriously negative things that can impact the whole family with very large adverse effect. Identifying all these things allow us to identify how will it affect us. Okay, then you will think about how can you overcome that, or how can you minimize the impact of this thing or this event if it really happens. Finally, couples should also have their money check-ins regularly. Reviewing our own financial health is important. So I call this a money date. We always have dates with our partner, but how often, or have you even once had date with your money? A money date is a structured time that we block our time together, say like every weekend, every Sunday night, for example, or every 2 weeks or once a month on a Sunday night, to sit down with our partner to talk about our financial goals for the family and couple and track our progress, and also review what was your spending in the last week or last month. You said you want to save this amount. Had you done so or not? So in that way, you keep yourself accountable to one another, and also to ensure that you are able to in the positions to identify if anything require attention before it becomes a problem or challenges that's too big to handle later. So you talk about your savings level, your investment, whether they are your goals preparation are on track or not, and your KPI or your to do. Last month you said you want to call the insurance agent to check your policy benefit. Have you done this? So you have these kind of things, and it shows that it gives us a platform for couple to work together on taking care of their financial health. You might work together to clean your room, to wash certain things, right? But how often have we been working together to take care of our financial health? So that's one thing to look into and think about also, right? Money dates should provide the couple with a safe space to discuss about their money concerns, hopes, or what they think without stress. The reason we do this is want to lower our stress, but we shouldn't make it like a toxic or judgmental date also. Respect one another, understand that you have your belief, I have my belief, and the thing we want is how do we work around and have a common ground, right? So by making this conversation, money dates, if you consistently have it, you will then realize that actually you have better control, better confidence, and you know what's going on with your family, household, finances also. Okay. And definitely it helps build trust. Now, sometimes to do a money dates yourself can be confusing or might have a lot of question mark like how do we start? Where do we start? How do we know that we are doing this right? Or how do we know that this is the amount I need to save or check, right? Or how do I know that this you are putting money in this and this is not supporting us or not appropriate for us or too much of risk or whatnot, right? So I think this is when having an outsider perspective will help. For example, a financial planner can help couple with reviewing their investment portfolio, also to facilitate their goal setting for the family and identify are you really too far away from your goal or are you very near to your goal and not, and also to do some scenario planning to identify to understand if this event really happened, how it affects both of you and what are your options, which of the options, everything's have pros and cons. So you need to have a clear picture of the pros and the cons for you to make an informed decision that you feel comfortable and you feel that it is the right decision to go forward with, right? So a financial planner helps you with all these things to understand your family financial needs, your financial health. But a financial coach will come in and facilitate the conversation for you guys to identify your money belief, your money story, and to work out whether it is supporting you now or it is actually bringing pain to you sticking to this belief. Because like everything that we do or write, right? If you write something and you don't like it, you can actually rewrite it. The same is true with our money belief. You cannot undo it, but you can acknowledge that it is here. And when you challenge it, and when you realize that there's more than one way to look at the same thing, then you might want to find out which way actually makes you feel happier, which way actually support you to make progress in life, and it can help you to rewrite your story. Because when your belief is different, you will do different things. You will do things differently, and therefore your outcome, your result, your life experiences will also be different. Another thing is when we have money dates with just two-person, the husband and the wife or the boyfriend and girlfriend, it's just two-person. So you're always going to have me or you, that kind of perspective also. By having a third party, like a financial coach, right? It can help people to find neutral, unbiased, because a coach is supposed to sit in the middle. You two are here. So the coach will tell you what he or she see as it is without taking side on anyone's, so that you are clear that you have someone to tell you things that you don't want to hear. You have someone to point out something you need to pay attention to without concern whether it will make you hate me or don't like me as much or don't love me as much or not. Okay, a financial coach can help you guys to clarify your life values, your belief, and your priorities. We have too many priorities, too many things we want to do, but we have only limited resources. time, money, energy, right? So how do you filter out those that are less important and only revisit them when you have additional resources? And more importantly, to create accountability in both people. So that's how an outsider perspective or help can be very useful. So I think this has been quite a long episode so far. So as we wrap up here, here are the three key takeaways. Understand your own money mindset or belief first before you speak to your partner, before you think about your family finances. Because when it comes to compatibility means you have to understand what shape you are before you look at the other person, right? Communicate and align with your partner. That's the second point. And it's about respecting our that we are all different and unique and respecting our boundary, not to put your anticipation or expectation, not to put our expectation on the other person. Okay. If that's the case, you might as well just marry yourself. Last but not least, to consider seeking professional help because it can actually help you to avoid unnecessary conflict and also build a stronger foundation, and also to ensure that whatever you guys are trying to do is on the right track. Okay. If you find some values from this episode or you feel that it resonates to you, consider setting up a money date with me, with your partner together, and you can experience how it might be helpful for you. Also, you can share this episode with people. You can start by considering sharing it with your loved ones or sharing with your friends and family who might you feel might be helpful for them. And if you have not done so, follow and subscribe to the show so that you don't miss out on any future episode. So as I'm ending this episode, I want to end it with a question for you, which is, what is the one conversation about money that you plan to have with your Valentine's this week? Share with me in the comment or DM me on my social. If you found today's episode helpful, subscribe and share it. Okay. Last but not least, continue to live well, manage your money, build, nurture good financial health, and lower your money stress. Until the next episode, see you. Bye bye.